Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. The title of this video, Fear or Not to Fear? That is the question, right? And I'm going to start it off by actually quoting a meme. I probably won't ever do this again, but quote a meme. But, the meme, fear is false evidence appearing real, right? I mean, it hands down is probably the only meme that could change your life. All the other memes that claim to change your life are just a bunch of garbage, but this one actually has a point, right? Now, from the master's point of view, fear comes from the illusion that we are separate. They know nothing but unity and oneness, where we know nothing but separation. Now, there might be times when we experience oneness or unity, maybe sitting on a beach watching the sunset and we forget about our troubles and just kind of are there, right? Or, maybe at times of great crisis, you go to help save somebody or aid somebody through whatever trial they're going through. You might experience unity or oneness then, or, you might have had a baby and you're just there with the baby as it's sleeping, and you just become totally engrossed in love of this baby, and you forget about yourself and experience unity or oneness that way, right? But moment to moment, those moments of unity don't last every day, right? I mean, it's, for the majority of the time, we all kind of see ourselves as separate. And the master's jobs are going to be to show us the truth of the matter, that we are all one. They're going to demonstrate it moment to moment so we can see that it is a reality. And then to help build those structures to help be a reflection of that unity. So we don't have one side of the planet eating really well. I know I'm a member of the Clean Plate Club, so, I have plenty of food, but yet there are people on the other side of the planet that don't, right? Now, where does the fear come into play? Well, because of that separation, we all experience fear at least once in our life, right? Probably most of us, the majority of our lives are lived in fear, right? We rank ourselves amongst everybody based on that separation and fear. I make more money than Julie, so I must be better than Julie, right? Or, oh my gosh, Julie just got a promotion, so now she's making more money than I am, so, is she better than me? Or, Fred has more education than I do, so does that mean he's better than me? And I oversimplify it, but subconsciously we all do this, right? And we rank ourselves 9 times out of 10, if not more than that, on how much money everybody has, right? If you have more money, then it means you're better than somebody else. If you don't have as much money as Fred, well, then it means you're not quite as good as Fred, right? Well, then you're afraid of Fred, or you distrust Fred, or, whatever. And these are all illusions. They don't exist in reality, right? Now, the other thing is, I remember reading a long time ago that the number one fear that people had was public speaking. People would prefer being shot and killed and put in the ground than to actually speaking in public, right? And I've spoken in public. It's not that bad. I would take that over being killed, right? And I overcame it the same way that they always said, imagine the audience in their underwear, right? And that will help you, be able to talk to somebody or, a bunch of people or whatever. So if you're afraid of aliens taking us over, well, just imagine those aliens in their underwear and you should be fine, right? But anyway, no, but also individually, but I've also seen fear in society, whether it's groups of people or entire nations of people, can experience fear. And for instance, when I was growing up, there was a lot of fear about the Russians attacking us, right? And it was big, right? I mean, that's what people thought, that we could be attacked or we were going to get attacked or whatever. And then communism ended. Well, nothing ever happened, right? And then Saddam Hussein attacked Kuwait. Oh my gosh, that's the start of World War III. And then people started to make predictions about what was going to happen with that based on some quatrains that Nostradamus wrote, several hundred years ago, that when you read them really didn't have anything to do with anything, but yet they made it out to be that it was something. And you think I'm kidding, but it really was what people were thinking back then, And then, people listened. I remember coming across a group of people that that thought for sure that the United Nations were going to take over the world, because they were listening to people like William Cooper, who were convinced that the United Nations were going to take over the world. And yet nothing's ever happened. And then at the stroke of midnight, one of two things were going to happen. Either the whole world was going to self-destruct, or stroke of midnight on 2000, right? Either the whole world was going to self-destruct, or Y2K, right? Where, because our computers only had a 2-digit date with a 2-digit year, that when it went from 99 to 2000, the computers wouldn't know how to handle it. And, we would lose all our money, the power stations would shut down. It would be pure anarchy. And it was a huge fear that people had. And yet nothing happened. And I remember talking to them, nothing's ever going to happen with this. Oh my gosh, oh yes it is. It's going to be awful. It's going to be this. And they just went on and on and on about it. But yet it subsided. And then it was, 9/11 hit, and the Bush administration kept saying that at any moment we could have another terrorist attack like this, and people just went crazy with fear. And then they justified it, that fear, false evidence, to justify them attacking, these Middle Eastern countries like Iraq and Afghanistan. Nothing ever happened with it. And that's the pattern, is we all are afraid of something, but yet nothing ever really happens with our fear, right? And one of Maitreya's jobs is to help remove that guilt and fear from the hearts and minds of people around the world. I mean, it's a big job, But when you see these masters, you're going to be taken back by how humble they are. But it's not a false humility, because they know nothing but oneness. They know nothing but unity. So when they're talking to you, they're talking from their point of divinity to another point of divinity, because they know that within the hearts of all of us is the same divinity that they know moment to moment, but yet it's the same divinity and the same creative impulse that created the entire universe. So they look at you like that. They don't look at you as an inferior person, Even though I use the word master, they're not a master over you or I. They're just a master over their own nature. They've mastered what it means to be human, really. And then the only way to do that is to know the truth, that we're all one. Not that they're better than anybody else, right? Now, looking at UFOs, right, in this topic of fear, right? There's a lot of fear about UFOs. Now, I do think that in some degree it's subsiding, because people are starting to accept the fact that they are out there and they are real. But people for the longest time thought that they were here to attack us, I'm sure some people probably still do. But yet there's more and more evidence every single day of them flying around our atmosphere, creating crop designs and so forth. You see videos of all kinds on YouTube. And it's becoming a mainstream theory that they are real and they exist. And so, but yet nobody's taken us over. We're still here, right? Now, some fears I think are legit. You don't want to test this fear or not to fear, it's by standing in front of a moving bus, that pretty much take you out, right? And I do think that we need to start being afraid of what's going to happen to the environment if we don't take care of the environment and take action. But, looking at it from the standpoint of, being afraid or not afraid of Maitreya, a lot of people are afraid of Maitreya. They use false evidence that appears real to them, right? I did put up a video about 2 Corinthians 11:14. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. People have used that in reference to Maitreya, because Maitreya is claiming that we can create a just environment. We can create peace in the world and have a future. That we can do it. Not him, but we can do it. And they make him out to be the Antichrist because of that one statement, right? He's a man claiming to be of peace, but yet he's really the Antichrist in disguise. Well, I don't think for one second that that's what Paul was talking about. I think what Paul was talking about was we need to check our own intentions and our own motives to see if they really are selfless, or are they selfish. We all think that we're doing stuff that's being selfless or for selfless reasons, but in the underside of it, the undercurrent of it is that or behind that is we're actually being selfish, right? Maybe we want attention. Maybe we want to, better ourselves or so forth, but we're using that as a mean for that, right? Or we all think that we're helping somebody when we're really harming them, That's what I think Paul was talking about. Now, if I'm wrong about that interpretation, I still don't think for 1 second he was talking about an Antichrist figure in the future. But he was talking to people who had no concept of the psychological vernacular or jargon that we all take for granted today, like motives and emotions and the mind, the word, the mind. He was talking to people who had no concept of those concepts. So he had to use a symbol, Satan, an angel of light, hidden as an angel of light, or disguised as an angel of light, to get his point across that you need to check your motives, right? Now, Maitreya has been on TV for 9 years, talking very gently, very softly to people, not claiming to be the Maitreya or the Christ or the Imam Mahdi or any other religious figure, just claiming to be one of us, right? It's people like myself and Benjamin Creme and other people that have heard this message that view Maitreya as the Christ. But Maitreya doesn't go around claiming to be anything. He doesn't even want you to give up your own beliefs. He says that. He says when you do that and you follow him, if you give up your own beliefs and start following him, you've lost him. He said God can be discovered within any belief structure or with no belief structure. It just, we need to go within ourselves and find it, right? Like peace always comes from within, like what he told me, right? That's the truth of the matter. But also, he wants for you to want for the world what he wants for the world. He wants you to want a future. So if you're a fundamentalist Christian, be a fundamentalist Christian who wants no more war. If you're a fundamentalist Muslim or Jew, be a fundamentalist Muslim or Jew that thinks that everybody should have food and clothing and shelter as a right. If you're a fundamentalist Buddhist, be a fundamentalist Buddhist that believes that we should all have universal health care as a right. If you're someone of no belief, well then be someone of no belief, but somebody who believes that we all share God or divinity, or we all, maybe there is a God or divinity if that's where you're at or whatever, right? That my God is not better than your God or whatever. And that's what he wants. So there really is nothing to fear. And when you meet Maitreya or you see him on TV, you're going to see a person of true humility because he knows nothing but oneness. He knows nothing but unity. And he's not this figure that people make him out to be. So don't worry so much. Everything's going to be fine. And as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.